break the walls down. You know I got you. Anyway, Payback just finished. I'm going to try to keep it down because it is late. Um, Overall, I thought it was a good pay-per-view. I'm not really mad at anything. Except for that Enzo botch. Like, holy shit. That was nasty. It looked ugly, and it legitimately took me out of the show for the most part. Um, I think the worst thing about it is that it gave me flashbacks of rest in peace El Hijo del Paraguayo, who had a similar accident with the ropes, and he actually passed away because of it. So seeing that happen to Enzo really scared me, and I don't know if it was work or not. You never know with those kind of things, but it looked legit. If he was acting, then fucking bravo. But I think it was legit and it was scary, and that really took me out of the pay-per-view. Um, I may have to go rewatch uh, Owens versus Zayn because I wasn't into it as much as I should have been. Um, so my guess is the Vaudevillains won that match, and then Owens beat Zayn, which was a recurring theme in this pay-per-view. All the heels basically won. Like if you're a bad guy, you basically won. Shout out to my city, Chicago. Good job. You know. Again, I saw a lot of fans that I normally see at ROH shows. So catch me at Global Wars next weekend. I will be there. Uh, my bad I didn't go to Payback. It's just I don't know. Like, why go to WWE Payback and pay like $100 or something ridiculous like that when I could go to Global Wars next weekend for 20? You know, like, and as far as what I like, you know, I like just wrestling. I don't care about promos and shit like that. But I'm getting off topic. But for my money, as far as what's a bang for my buck, I usually choose ROH. So anyway, what the hell else happened? By the way, I thought Zayn and Owens was really good. I may have to rewatch it. If I had to rate it going off of what I was able to catch when I wasn't, you know, mind fucked over what happened to Enzo, it looked like a 5, but realistically, you know, now that I think about it, it was probably about a 4.5, maybe a 4.25, but it was pretty good. Um, Kalisto beat Ryback in the pre-show. I didn't mention that, and I thought that match was really good as well. I want to say it was about a 3.75, so almost a B grade. Really good in my opinion. Um, I don't like the commercials in between, and I think they should have had more time. But overall, it was a good match. What else? What else? Baron Corbin lost to Ziggler. I thought it was pretty good. Not bad. Maybe like a 3, 2.5. Um, who else had a match? I think Natty and Charlotte had the match of the night. Um, Charlotte wins via Montreal screw job. They're trying to call it the Chicago screw job, which is like, it's just stupid. It's legit stupid. Like, Brian Alvarez tweeted, I guess Natalia's going to WCW now, which is true. Like, if you're going to call back to that, then do it like you did in Money in the Bank, where you call back to it, but you don't do the same fucking thing, you know? Money in the Bank 2011. This match, they called back to it, and they did the same fucking thing, which doesn't make any sense, because there's no reason to screw Natty there. There's no fucking reason. Unless you want to do the Lil Nate thing, because in WCW he was supposedly like a mini Ric Flair or something. But then it's like, well, why the fuck do you have a referee? Whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, spoilers, it's all fake anyway, so who gives a shit? Just as far as what I would have enjoyed an actual winner to that match. You know, not a fucking whatever the fuck that was. Not a fucking storyline development or whatever the fuck. But it is a B show. You know, it's Payback. It's not fucking WrestleMania or whatever the fuck. And there will be a show tomorrow. Like there always fucking is. But like I said, as far as like what I personally think of the match, I wish it was clean. It was a dirty finish, but I did enjoy Brett and Natalia doing the stereo sharpshooters. So bravo for that. I just think you could have done that without having to do the fucking Chicago screw job. Natalia didn't screw Natalia this time. You know, it's just stupid. I didn't like it. And it's a shame too because that match was great. Like, it was fantastic. An amazing match. And then they just they fuck it up because they want us to watch it again at Extreme Rules. Which I get. It's just that, like, fuck, man. You know what I mean? Like, fuck. I don't feel like watching it again. I already watched it. I'm sure they'll add more stuff and they'll keep building on the story. And I'm sure I'll like it eventually. But as of now, fuck that match. Like, it was good and it could have been much better. The Miz beat Cesaro. I didn't give a fuck because I was still worried about Enzo. Um, Ambrose beat Jericho. I didn't give a fuck because I was still worried about Enzo. But I did notice, however, that Jericho did the lion saw on like the left side of the ring, and Enzo got hurt on the right side of the ring. So if they wanted to work that spot, I guess they could have just made the second rope a lot looser on the right side, which is why Jericho did the lion saw on the left side, because that rope has to be tight in order for Jericho to bounce off. So when Enzo actually hit the rope, it didn't hurt that much if it was a work. But I don't think it was a work because it looked real as fuck. That's all I'm saying. But I'm saying that maybe they could have done that, but I don't think they did because it looked really well done. Well, I don't mean well done in the sense of acting. What I mean is it looked really bad. Like, it looked like it was a legit injury. So I don't think it was a work. A work is when they lie to us and they tell us that somebody got hurt when they're not. That's a work. I don't think it was a work. What else happened today? Like, why isn't Becky Lynch versus Emma on this card? I would have enjoyed that. They decided to go with Shane and Stephanie both running Raw, which I swear they did like 15 years ago, but I'm not sure if I'm wrong about that. And it was like a 20-minute segment that you could have saved for Monday Night Raw right at the beginning, and you could have gave us Becky Lynch versus Emma. What the fuck? Doesn't make any fucking sense. So yeah, The Miz beat Cesaro. I don't give a shit. Again, I was worried about Enzo. I think that's it. If I forgot something, then I don't give a fuck. And then it was the main event. Roman beat AJ in another clusterfuck of telling stories, which, like, I get that they're in the business of telling stories, but you don't have to fucking bring the McMahons out every 10 fucking minutes. You don't have to put, the McMahons over all the work everybody's doing. You don't have to fucking put, your guys over everybody and all that kind of stuff. But I'm kind of rambling here. I thought the match was good. It was really good, actually. Probably like a 4.75. So now we know that Roman is really good. You just have to make him work with one of the top 5 wrestlers not our time, but of the world. The top 5 of the world. You put him against Daniel Bryan, who at the time was definitely top 5 of the world, and Roman has a good match. Shit. You put him against AJ Styles, who was top 5 in the world at this time. Roman has a good match. And if you can't have one of the top 5 in the world, you put him against somebody with weapons. And you give him props, and he'll have a good match. Because if he has fucking tables and kendo sticks and stuff like that, you can have a good match. Overall, I thought it was pretty decent. It wasn't bad. Like I said, 4.75, maybe 4.5. I wish there was a clean finish. So, like, because as far as I understand it, AJ won the match twice. But then Roman wins because, lol, like, oh, what the fuck? Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, I get it, but it leaves a bad taste in my mouth. I think Roman is getting there, don't get me wrong. I think he will be one of the best in the world with time. Um, he did the suicide dive today, which looked beautiful, on 4 wrestlers instead of like 20 like he usually does. So he's showing that he's getting more comfortable with it. Um, the Bullet Club members, Anderson and Gallows, are pretty tall, so they were able to catch him. But that's still good. 4 is better than the usual 10 or 20 that he has. So he's getting there. He'll one day be ready to do it on just one person. You know, he'll feel comfortable enough to do that, which would be nice. He doesn't have to, you know, but it'd be nice. He hit some really devastating lariats in the early going. The story was told perfectly. You know, we know that Roman's the stronger guy, and you know AJ just works harder than him. And it's something I posted on Reddit too, right before Roman won. For every one move Roman does, AJ does like 2 or 3. Go back and watch the match if you think that I'm just being a piece of shit or whatever the fuck, and I'm just, you know, drooling over AJ or whatever the fuck. Or I'm just being an indie mark or whatever the fuck. Literally, go back and watch the match and count the cool shit that they do. You know what I mean? Look at the finishing sequence. AJ bounces off the ropes, jumps over Roman, hits the ropes, comes back, gets hit with a spear. You see what I'm saying? AJ jumped off the ropes, jumped over Roman, hits the ropes, Roman does a spear. So AJ does 3 things, Roman does 1. And that was basically the entire fucking match. AJ does a springboard 450. AJ does a springboard phenomenal forearm to the outside through a table. AJ does a phenomenal forearm. AJ does a normal 450. AJ does fucking fucking AJ lifts up Roman, so it's not like AJ can't lift up Roman. He lifted him up and he fucking drops him on his knee. And Roman does Superman punch a couple times and a spear. And he did the suicide dive onto 4, which was pretty cool. I'm not going to take that away from him. AJ clotheslines Roman over the barricade. Like, AJ's doing all the fucking work. And somehow, for some reason, Roman wins. And I'll tell you the reason. It's because he's a WWE guy. And he looks good. And he has muscles. That's it. And I understand if you're attracted to him and you like him because of that, that's fine. If you say that, I'll be like, okay, well then cool. You're a Roman fan. I can respect that. If you say that you like him because he's a WWE guy, that's fine. You're a WWE fan. I get that. But to hate on somebody like AJ Styles, who is clearly working harder and is running a lot more than Roman does, and is doing more work than Roman does, doesn't make any fucking sense. As far as watching the match, you can argue that Roman lifts a lot of weights and whatever the fuck, but I don't get to watch that. That's not something that entertains me, and I frankly don't give a shit. You know, if it was a sport, which it's not, but if it was a sport, you're telling me that the main guy in the basketball court isn't the one that's working the hardest. The main guy, the guy that gets paid the most and wins all the MVPs, is the guy that works 20 minutes, whereas there's another guy that works 48 and drops the most points, but you're not supposed to cheer for the guy that drops the most points and works all 48 minutes. It doesn't make any fucking sense. It just doesn't. And I know it's fake, and I know, you know what I mean, I'm not fucking stupid. But with that said, you can still look with your eyes, and you can tell who's working harder. You can tell who does the cooler shit. It doesn't take, it's not rocket science. But Roman's a WWE guy. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's the way it's going to be. McMahon and WWE in general are going to put the McMahons over and anybody who came up in the WWE system over so that the WWE looks stronger than any competition. Because Vince has a god complex and he wants to rule the world. He wants a monopoly. I get that. And it's cool. But don't try to pretend like that's not what's happening, because that's what's happening. And you don't have to boo the guy. Like I said, I think he's going to get much better. In a couple years, he'll probably be one of the best in the world. But he's not that now. And he should have probably lost that. Here's to hoping he loses that Extreme Rules. V for victory. Peace.